Hi, friends, and welcome to the Anniversary Podcast. I'm Mary, and this is the space where we celebrate another year, reflect on what it's taught us, and talk honestly about what it really takes to keep choosing each other. Anniversaries aren't, okay. I practiced this over the weekend. Yeah. Okay. Hi, friends, and welcome to the Anniversary Podcast. I'm Mary, and this is the space where we celebrate another year, reflect on what it's taught us, and talk honestly and openly about what it means to keep choosing each other. Anniversaries aren't just about marking time, they're about honoring growth. So today I'm thrilled to sit down with Kristie and Wylie. They're high school sweethearts. And so we kind of talked earlier, just right before we hit record, about like how high school sweethearts are just like the rainbow and unicorns of
Yeah.
like a relationship. So like walk me through like how you guys met. Did you guys meet in class? Were you in chemistry together?
Well, we hung out with like different groups, but they were kind of adjacent to each other.
Yeah.
And it's kind of silly, but when I first noticed him, we were at the scone cutter, which sadly isn't here anymore.
Rest in peace.
But we were at the scone cutter, and there's a lot of us kids there. And I look over, and he's like scaling the wall of the scone cutter.
Like climbing up the wall?
Climbing the wall.
Trying to get to the roof.
Yeah, just,
Sure.
being silly or whatever. And I just looked over and I was like, oh my gosh. And I asked my friend, I was like, hey, who is that? And she's like, oh, that's Wylie, because she went to freaking elementary and junior high with him, and she's like, he's never really like had a girlfriend or anything like that before. And I was like, he's pretty cute. Shoot me his number, but I did not have a phone, so I had to use her phone.
Okay.
Text him, because back then it was like Cricket and like.
Oh, was it like the flip phone stage?
Motorola Razor.
Yes, and hers was like the candy bar phone,
Okay,
so
yeah.
like purple clear plastic around it,
Yes.
So I would like send, okay, this is Sissy. And that's kind of how I started talking to him. And when I first noticed him, I don't think he was going to be interested at all until I pursued it. But that's okay. I'm good with
Well, I don't know. Maybe. I would say probably, yeah. So funny enough, I was a grade above her,
Okay.
but I skipped a grade in second grade.
because I'm actually a little older than
Yeah,
her by like a
so-
month and a half.
So she's
Okay.
older than me, but I was a grade above.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny like that. But we talked a few times when she was actually dating someone before me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember teasing her a couple times
Yes,
about
he did.
how she should drop in.
Ditch the loser and go with the hero.
Yeah, not necessarily good with me, but I was just always.
No, it was not good with you. He's like, you should ditch him and just be with me. And I was just like, okay, well.
He's like in the other room.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just kind of joking
Yeah.
around. And then we did, and that was, that was kind of before. And then, yeah, we were talking, and then it was crazy because like once we started talking, it was like, that was it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
never stopped talking after that. Here we are. Like, that was the precipice of it. Eventually, I got my own phone, and it was a lot easier.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
For sure.
How old were you guys?
16?
Yeah,
17.
just turning 17. I think when we actually started like really dating was just after.
Yeah, because we kind of consider his birthday as our like
Quasi.
dating anniversary of when we
Okay.
kind of made it like official. Because his birthday is the day after Halloween, so we had gone to like a Halloween costume party, and then that's kind of when we made it official. So
I love it.
yes, we're like, that's the date.
So what has been your guys' experience as like a high school sweethearts couple that's made it all the years, 22 years together? And like, because I think for me, like I've seen it a lot in my neighborhood, like I was saying earlier, but I don't think a lot of high school couples like make it.
Yeah.
And so what made you guys know, or like what experience helped you know that you guys were going to be like forever together?
So
I wouldn't say even I didn't even feel like it's a no, but it was just like every day I was just like, I really like hanging out. Like, I want to keep doing this. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I know forever, but it was just like every single day was just like, I want to do this again. Like, this is fun.
so for me, again, it's a little silly. And I was actually just telling him this the other day. I'm like, it was so, back then we had like AOL Instant Messenger,
Mhm.
and that same ex-boyfriend was being kind of mean to me, and it was like really getting to me, and so he hopped on because he was, talking online or whatever, just some mean things. And he was like, don't ever talk to her again. Like, I'll see you outside of the school if you ever talk to her like that. And we'd only been dating for like 2, 3 months. And for me, I was like, that's my
I'm not.
forever.
I'm not.
Like, I knew it was gonna be forever. He's already standing up for me, and it's
Mhm.
like, hey, like, that's not cool. Like, don't be doing that. And he didn't. The guy stopped, so it obviously worked. I think he was just shocked that it happened. But for me, that was when I knew. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a forever thing. And we started making goals really young. So like, even though weren't we were we had dated for about 3.5 years before we had gotten engaged. And so even then, during, our dating period, we had made plans for the future. So like, we want to travel together, we want to experience national parks together. We kind of had these goals that kind of kept it like the momentum going forward. I think that's kind of a big thing that.
Yeah, yeah. It was super organic, and that's what I try to tell our teenage girls
Yeah.
uh, is that you just can't. We were really lucky. I mean, I feel like trying to force that could be something that's not good, and that a lot of couples that we knew in high school obviously ended up
Yeah.
divorced, and they just tried
Well, and
so hard
also
to.
we're really good communicators. So, if anything would come up at all, we were talking about it. And I think that that really helped it is from the very beginning, we talked about things like anything and everything, we were talking about it. So, we really showed an interest in what each other likes to do,
Yeah.
and in finding new things to do together, hobbies to do together, the both of us. But through everything, we always talked about it. Just really made communication an important part, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's things you don't want to hear, and being
Yeah.
open to that.
Yeah, because I think that's funny. Because when we were first dating, we used to get a lot of, "You guys don't seem like you're in a relationship," because we would have heated, like, conversations,
But we
just
weren't arguing or
super
fighting,
passionate,
we're
right?
just like,
Yeah, and they're
what
like,
about
"Ah." It's
this?
always just, like, a little uncomfortable, like, when they'd say, like, around us because we just weren't like that. Such I mean, of course, we were lovey-dovey, but it was just like it's almost like there wasn't a facade we were trying to put on. It's like we had already, like, found each other in that comfort, and so we just a lot of times people were like, "You don't even seem like you're dating, or are you guys gonna break up?" And we're like, "What? No, not
No.
at all." Like,
And then after like getting used to it, people would be like, they're never breaking up. They're
yeah,
going to be together
yeah,
forever.
Yeah.
There's a few actually boys and girls that were like, shucks, because we were both like committed to each other, and they're like, dang it, why?
Yeah, and it seems like you guys are just, like, a team,
Yes.
and, like, I love how you kind of talked about how, like, setting the precedent early on of, like,
Mhm.
open communication even when it's uncomfortable, and, like, I
Yes.
think that's where I mean, obviously, I'm not a relationships expert, but, like, I've seen where a lot of couples go forth with this, like, rainbows and sparkles, like,
Yes.
honeymoon phase,
Yeah.
and they don't get into the nitty-gritty quickly,
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
and, like, going into that nitty-gritty quickly sets an early precedent of, like, this is what I expect from this relationship, and so there's little room for confusion or hurt
Yeah.
feelings and, like, miscommunication.
Yeah, and even if something like that does come up, being flexible, because
Mhm.
you change so much, but you still have that essence of who you are, So being able to be flexible and just saying like, oh, I didn't realize that like these behaviors were being presented in that way, or, just having an open mind about it so that, because at the end of the day, even when it gets tough, you both have the same goal in mind, and that's you want to be together forever,
Yeah.
So if you remember that and why you did it in the first place, which is important establishing before you get into a relationship, like
Yeah.
why you want to be there,
Yeah.
then it just goes a little more smooth because, it's not always so easy. It really, especially if you have kids, if they're, and when they're young, your number one goal is their survival and safety. So
Exactly.
it's really, those first few years of us having kids it was a little trickier for sure, but we found something that worked for us. And mostly that was him letting me get sleep.
Yeah.
I feel much better when I have sleep. Like I do not do well in little sleep, and he does a little better than me.
Yeah,
So
I do
he's
great.
like, listen,
All the
you
midnight
just
feedings, all the
he's like, you
everything.
just
So
had the babies. It did
yeah,
crazy things to your body and mind and soul. So let me pitch in here. And that helped so much. Like it was still tricky, but once the kids hit, and that's my biggest piece of advice is like, whatever you're thinking about doing to, your relationship, just wait till they're like 5. And then it starts getting easier, from there.
Yeah.
And it's still important to keep your relationship going during that time, but just understanding that it's not going to be,
it's gonna be different,
and
a
it's
little
going to
bit.
be difficult, but
Yeah.
if you can hang in there and
Stay
have those
united.
conversations, yes,
Yeah,
and stay united, that's a good thing. And we tell our girls that too. We're like, we chose each other first, so we set that
Yeah.
foundation for our family because we chose each other first.
yeah,
I love that. And you guys were kind of like you were talking a little bit earlier about like flexibility when it comes to your relationship. And obviously, over 22 years, you guys have had to be a little bit flexible.
Yes.
And we kind of talked about it earlier where you guys were kind of changing jobs, like going to school, and like now you're kind of working together.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of walk me through just kind of like the flexibility of changing so much because I think like and this is what I like I was just barely having a conversation with like one of my neighbors about this where back in probably like the 1970s or like 80s where like job changes weren't a thing.
Common. Yeah.
Like you go to college, you get your degree and that's your life forever.
Ever. Yeah.
And there's little change like
Mhm.
my parents stayed in their professions for over 40
Yeah,
years.
that was our parents too. Yeah.
And so walk because I mean, obviously like the world is a lot different than it was for our
Mhm.
parents. And so how did you guys navigate the flexibility and just the fluidity? I was
Yeah.
trying to think of the word like how did you navigate the fluidity of like changing from like I don't know if like changing goals is the right answer because I think you
Right,
guys have
right.
like the goal of going together and like supporting each other. But I think like the goals of like what you want to do kind of shift
Yeah.
and are fluid a little bit.
So at least I think for me, it was I didn't want to settle in that way. I just didn't. Like I always wanted to do more and I always wanted to experience doing lots of different things, which makes it a little bit difficult when you want stability for your
Yeah.
family and structure. So we kind of what we did is we bought our house and we said, okay, for now we'll at least maintain our home as where we're going to be for now. And then that kind of helped it so that we feel like we have that stability to be able to pursue other things. So he was going to be the one that was like, okay, I'm going to do the 9 to 5 thing. I'm going to do the school thing. I'm going to become an engineer. And that will allow me to be able to do all of my fun stuff that I wanted to do. So that was really helpful once it's funny because right around the same time is when we both decided that we wanted to be our own bosses. We wanted to run our businesses our way. We wanted to have flexibility with our time, being able to show up. And so once we had that mindset, it just flowed. Like you put it into the universe and then it just happens because you know it's going to work out because that's who you are. That's what you want. That's your goals. And so, there's kind of that like, oh no, like this is so scary. What? But then once we said that that's what we were going to do, it just kind of the doors opened and then I was like, okay, I'm not a salesperson at all, but I'm going to do real estate. That's what I'm going to do because it's so cool. I love it. I get to help all kinds of people. It's a way to make great money, and then he's always, he can do anything. It's crazy. It blows my mind. Sometimes it makes me a little angry because I'm like, how are you so good at everything? How you don't even have to try that hard. And he just was always fixing up our house, building things, doing things. And so he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to start doing this. And I was like, perfect. And then we both just jumped into it and it worked out and it's going great. And even that evolved. How?
That's like your personality, which is great. It like melts perfectly. It has made me into who I am. But when we first graduated high school and we were high school sweethearts, we moved in together. Didn't rush to get married, but we did want to live together. I think that was something we wanted to do to make sure that, life was going to be what we thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved in together. And then, at least in my head, it was like, okay, now we're playing the adult roles, right? So we're going to go to college. I'm going to get a career. She went to college for nursing. That's where you started out.
Yeah,
as.
and teaching. I've been to college for lots of different things.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I stayed on that path and then got a job machining for an engineering company. And then they heard that I was in school and that put me kind of into a engineering position without having my degree, which worked out perfect because the degree I was going for, they canceled it because there wasn't enough students. So it was for drafting and design and they stopped doing it. So then I was just like, well, I don't know what to do. So they're like, well, just keep doing this. So that just snowballed into the career. But her, on the other hand, which I love, she's very quick to be like, I'm gonna burn it all down.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's one of her best traits. Like it can be frustrating at times, but for the most part, she always wants to change for the better. And I've learned over all this time to trust that her ideas are for the better. Whether it be, she can see the stress of me working that job I hate and I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But as the provider, I'm gonna keep doing it because, that's what you do. And she reminds me that no, it's not. That's not what you have to do.
You have to go that way.
Yeah. And so with a lot of gentle persuasion and pushing and encouragement, she got me out of that job and into doing something that I like to do better, which is work for myself and spend more time with her and the kids, which was amazing. It's a success if I can feel like I'm working part-time, but still having a roof over.
For sure.
I feel like over the years, growing together, our definition of happiness has changed. From when we were in high school. Maybe success and happiness was money.
Yeah, a little bit more material.
Yeah. And then as we've gotten older, it's like happiness is definitely not money.
It's time.
Time is
the most precious resource you can have.
Time together, time with our kids.
Yeah, and I think your perspective is really interesting just as the provider, because I have a little bit more freedom too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the decisions do take a little longer with providing, obviously, because you have to keep some sort of revenue stream in. But she's acknowledging and she's showing me when I'm unhappy, sometimes I lose sight of that. And that's what's so perfect to have a partner for because they can take those cues and really gently nudge us in the right direction.
Yeah, and there were tense times, you know, it was really tense, but at the end of the day, we just want each other to grow into the best versions of ourselves. And so, you know, sometimes one or both of us has a hard time seeing that, you know, and so it's like reminding each other, like, hey, you know, this is what you wanted. Remember,
Hmm.
it's just not, maybe it doesn't look the way that you thought it would to get there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's where the communication comes in.
Hmm.
And because, when I leave and make that transition, sharing the concerns up front are it's works really well because say if it would have failed, that could have been a real bump in our relationship where maybe I
Yeah.
would have blamed her for
Hmm.
pulling me away from security and pushing me into something I didn't want to do. So we always kept open communication about fears.
Yeah, I'm always like, "Hey, start checking KSL jobs, you know, if you don't like," and he's like, "Absolutely not. I don't want to do it again."
Yeah, I got a taste. Nope, I'm done.
Well, it's also like, especially with job security and like kind of this feeling of needing to be a provider and like wanting to and also needing to keep your kids alive,
Right.
which is like the huge biggest piece of this is like you always like you have to have that security
Mhm.
and you have to just kind of like maintain that front like when you are looking for jobs like that sense of security kind of
Yes.
gets pulled out from under you. And so we've kind of like touched on this. Sorry, this is a little bit of a pivot. But what is something about your partner that you appreciate more now than you did when you first started dating? Because we kind of have touched on it like a little bit where like you guys have shared things that you appreciate, like qualities that you appreciate about each other. But I think sometimes when you first start dating, like I know like high school kids and like my generation, we call it the icks
Yeah. Oh
or
my gosh.
whatever. And it's like, oh no, if it's like this one ick, I can't date them. But like I don't know, those I feel like those icks kind of develop into kind of just
An
like
endearing
yeah,
sort of, yeah.
yeah. So kind of what are your thoughts on a quality or something about your partner that you appreciate more now than you did when you were in high school?
Uh, Criticism, I
Interesting.
appreciate more for sure.
Yeah.
Um, you know, back then when you're insecure in yourself and in your relationship, if they bring up anything that maybe they feel like you could do better, it's an affront on who you are as a person, right? But now if she says something, then it's really I'm like, oh wow, okay. Let's see what this looks like. Let's
Yeah.
work to see
How about you?
how that feels. Um, and it's not like she's telling me I'm doing awful things, but it's just, you
Like,
know,
"Hey, you leave the cabinet doors open. Why? Why?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like I joke, I would joke hard as I'm the youngest of eight.
Oh, okay.
So I have five older brothers.
Yeah.
And so what I think would be funny, you know, um, would make her brothers cry. She's the oldest of four. I'm the youngest of eight. So we have different
Well, not now that we're
viewpoints.
grown,
Not now that
when
we're
they were
when
little.
they were little. And I'm like, I'm just having fun. And she's like, well, maybe it's not fun for everyone. Maybe
Yeah.
it's fun for you. Just things like that.
And I think that's probably like, I appreciate his, before it was, I'm like, whoa, you know, that's like super strong, like coming on, you know, what you're saying. But that has shaped the relationship with my family. And they absolutely love him. And I just appreciate his sense of humor now. Like he's always just so, he just teases. And my brothers are like, we love you. Like you're so awesome. Even my sister, they just up, and my mom, my
Yeah. So
dad, my whole family loves him, you know,
we're
like,
on the other side of it. So the ick for
yeah.
her was that, and kind of the ick for me was correcting that.
Oh,
Well, we kind
interesting.
of met in the middle. She maybe likes the cynical humor a little bit more, and
Yes.
I'm a nicer person overall,
Yeah.
less harsh.
But, and it makes it easier too because we have and this isn't for everybody, so tread lightly, but we have,
Yeah.
what we call the judgment zone. And
Okay.
instead of, this is a safe judgment free zone, we have safe judgment zones because, sometimes you feel a lot of icky things inside. And
Yeah.
so if we have a safe judgment zone, we can get those out with each other.
Sometimes you just
You
don't like the
know?
interaction.
Have you seen those, like, Instagram reels where it's, like, the couples that put on, like, party hats and they, like, have a argument ever? Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is so funny. I'll have to show you this after, but, like, they literally, like, in order to have an argument,
Oh, they have to do
they
They
the
put
have to
on
put
party hats or, like, something, like, super
silly.
ridiculous.
Yes.
Or there's this one couple that talks in, like, Renaissance English where it's like, "Why dost thou leave the toilet seat open?" Or,
Yeah,
like
finding creative ways to have these conversations.
Yeah.
yeah, and it sounds like you guys do.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love she's like,
Yeah.
"Can I just enter
Can
the
I just
judgment zone?" I'm
say?
like, "Yes." "What bothered you about that person?" Because I know that's who you're gonna say, because I didn't like the way she looked at me either.
I love that.
We're
Yeah.
good people.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
really is
Yeah.
so therapeutic, honestly, because it's all within us. We have judgment to be safe for
Yeah.
ourselves. So, you keep that all bottled up, it's going to come out somehow. And usually it's on your partner.
Yeah, and
So,
you don't want it to come out on your partner.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm gonna have to try that out now. That's awesome. And so you guys have been together for 22 years. What is one thing you guys do every day? Because like as you guys were coming in, I was like, dang, this couple is like so in sync and like just I don't know what it was. And like but maybe it was
Oh,
just like
that
the energy you guys were giving, but you guys like seem like you're still in high
Yes.
school and like still like just madly in love.
Yes.
So what's like one thing every day that you guys do to kind of keep that spark alive?
Well, I have a list of things that he does for me, and he writes me notes, and he usually leaves them in the bathroom so I can see them in the morning. And he's pretty consistent about that. And it's just a little note. I love notes. I think you don't need to buy me anything, but if you write me a little note, I'm you. I love that. So we'll be like, "Happy Monday. Hope you have a great day. Can't wait to see you when you come home or when he comes home." And
Yeah,
then he also makes me coffee, one
cute.
cup of coffee in the morning. I absolutely love that. And it's not just like, brewing a pot. I have a milk frother with my
Oh, like the
flavorings.
whole thing.
Yes. So it's like a thing, and he'll do
I
that for
saw that.
me. And he always opens the door. And I love that so much. Like
That's
he
cute.
opens the door and he doesn't just like when we're leaving the house, right? He'll open the door for me and then he doesn't just like, okay, and then leave and let me shut the door. He waits till I get in, no matter how long it takes me, and then he shuts the door. And it's like so freaking sweet to me. I love it so much. And he'll open the door for my girls too, like
We gotta
they said,
show,
yeah,
gotta show them.
exactly. Exactly. And every day he first thing he does when he comes home from work is he comes to find me, and usually give me a kiss and a hug and every day. Like, or even if he just leaves to go to the store, he'll come back, "Hi, babe," and like give me a kiss, like he still seeks out affection and attention. And I love that. Even if I'm kind of annoyed.
You're
All
like,
right.
Yeah, I think
thanks.
that's one
But
thing is
yeah.
just keeping a certain level of affection, hand holding when
Yeah.
we're walking.
Hmm.
When we sit on the couch, we pretty much never sit apart,
No.
shoulder to shoulder.
Unless the dogs are in
Yeah,
between
miss the
us.
dogs. We always greet each other, like
Mm.
if we've been apart, out of the room even, you know.
Yeah, our kids get kind of annoyed by it. They're like, "Ugh, you guys are so disgusting." I'm like, "It could be a lot worse."
We just try to
Like,
be,
you don't know how lucky you are your parents love
yeah,
each other.
yeah. We try to be in love every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that that's probably one big thing that's, a misconception about longevity is people feel like love, the idea of love can just carry them through the whole relationship, which I feel like no, like that's a great building block
Yeah.
to fall in love. But every day is a choice. Every day it's work. You you wake up and you choose to be with them. You tell yourself that you love them every day, which you do, but you also remind yourself. Because if you stumble upon something that, say, frustrates you about them, you've already had that in your head all day. Like, you remind
Yeah.
yourself that you love that person and you're choosing to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really tough, but you have to show up with a level of vulnerability. Like, you have to be vulnerable, and that's so hard to do. It's so hard to be vulnerable and trust that the other person isn't gonna rip your heart out, you know? Like, you have to
Yeah.
trust that they have your best intentions, you know? Like, they want you to succeed. They love you, you know? Like, this is a good thing, and that level of vulnerability is really difficult to have. You just have to practice. It's a practice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We have we have quite a few matching tattoos, but
I
one of the
love
tattoos that
it.
we have is we tattoo each other on our
Mhm.
anniversary every year, and it's
Yeah, our little
Okay.
marks.
I was seeing that on your
Yeah.
arm and
yeah.
I was
So
like,
it's
"Oh,
every
what
year
is
that
that?"
we're married, you just
And
get
I
put
said,
another
"Hey,
line down.
that's missing like 4 years. Like,
Yeah,
we
because this
should
is just our
get."
married line,
Yeah,
Mm.
and she
you
wants to
know,
do.
and I'm like, "What?
I'm
Those
like, no.
years matter." They're cute. But yeah, you know, and obviously not everybody's gonna get tattoos. That's totally
Mhm.
okay. But finding something just for you, you know, and it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be a little note, you know,
Yeah.
like, oh, he leaves me notes, you know, it's just the little things that really add up into the big love, you
Yeah.
know.
And it's really like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's a like you keep choosing each other. Like
Mhm.
you guys have been together for 22 years. Like that's no small accomplishment. That's a
Yeah.
long time
Yeah,
together and like a long time choosing to be with each other and choosing to be with each other through the icks and
Yeah.
the cynical jokes.
Yeah.
But you like there's so much like intention and like intention in the choosing to love someone because you were saying Wiley like you need to like choose to love. It's like love like falling in love is like the foundation, but like
right.
you gotta because you're a contractor, you should like you probably know this more than I do, but I feel like love is kind of like building a brick house a little
Right.
bit where it's like you have to get like a solid foundation,
Mhm.
but like you still have to like you can't just like put the bricks on top of each other. Like you have to like
Right.
cement them and
Yeah,
like be
Yeah.
exactly.
intentionally.
And if you neglect the house, I mean, pipes break, you know, roofs collapse, and then you end up hating being in that house. You end up hating the house.
Yeah.
Whereas like a marriage and working together is preventative maintenance, you know,
Mhm.
it's changing the water heater, it's painting, you know, peeling the chipping walls. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I
And
just
it's
came up
like,
on that
yeah,
with that on the spot.
even more, it's like you love your house more every day. You do something for her, she does something for me. It's like putting a new painting on the wall. You know, the house
Mhm.
just got a little more homey, a new memory that we built,
Yeah.
you know, that we made.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of coming to the close of our podcast here, but I want to ask you a couple of questions. These are kind of like rapid fire
'Kay.
questions, and I've asked these with every guest that I've had. So like just like right off the top of your head. So when things get hard, what is the core reason that one thing about your partner or your life together or your life together that makes giving up not an option?
Time, you know, like, why and what's out there that can compare, you know, like, I don't wanna do it all over again for sure, for
Yeah, we've
sure.
experienced so much, and the memories that we have, it's just you're so
Yeah,
excited
nothing can
to
compare.
build upon those
Yeah.
because the history makes for even better memories to be made.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, the core of our family, you know. It's we love our kids with all our hearts,
Mhm.
and they
And our
definitely,
family
yeah,
and
and our
our
family. And
life
it's like cutting yourself in half. It's like no
yeah.
one would, if they're mad at themselves, would imagine walking away from half their body. And that's like where we've gone to at this point.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful. I love that. I love that imagery because like you don't necessarily like think of yourself as like a whole other person. Like you guys seem like you guys are really like not necessarily like joined at the hip, but like you guys consider yourselves like a part of each other.
Yes.
Where it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
where a plant can like it can probably live without like I don't know, getting like sugar, like sugar
Yeah.
water.
How rich is your life?
Yeah. But like it's I'm trying to think of an analogy, but like you it's kind of like the yin and
Yeah.
yang a little bit where it's like you like you're still like your whole self, but like
Yes.
there's a part of you
Yeah.
that's him and there's a part of you
Yeah.
that's her.
Yeah.
For sure.
So obviously we haven't really dived into this. But relationships can be messy and I'm sure like high school years were wonderful and rainbows and sparkles, but I'm sure there were also really hard times and especially with raising kids. So what's one practice that you guys have like done in your marriage and in your relationship that's helped you like choose each other and like stay connected when those times come around?
We try not to go to bed mad at each other. And I know that's something that a lot of people say. And some people do need space. They do. They do need their space. But we try to figure out what the issue is before we even go to sleep. And he especially is very persistent about that. Like, I'll be like, I just need a little bit of time, to breathe. And then he'll be like, okay. And then a couple minutes later, he's like, all right, what can we do? Like, we're both very results driven and we both want to see through to the other side, like, okay, this didn't work. How do we pivot? How do we move forward? We're both like that. So it makes it easier when both people are like not just going to sit in whatever is going on and they're actually looking forward to, okay, what do we do to move on from here? How do we get through this? Not just hit a roadblock and that's it.
Yeah.
We're toast.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'd say communication, we talk a lot more than so many couples
Yeah.
that I talk to. I'm always just shocked when, uh, you know, somebody's saying they're having trouble with their spouse. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, what did
Family,
they
close
say about
friends,
it? And they're like, I didn't
What?
talk
I
to them
didn't
about it. I'm
ask
like,
them.
wait, what? So
Yeah.
you're talking to me, but you haven't actually expressed that to them yet. Like, start there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, open communication.
Is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and if you come in, if you practice long enough, we know now we're not there to hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah.
So it's like we can have a stream of consciousness that may not sound like painting each other in the best light, but we've gotten to that point where it's like we're not trying to hurt, we're trying to express how we feel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And we do allow each other the space to talk about our stream of consciousness, like even if it's the weirdest thing you ever heard in your life, like that's okay, just get it out, and
That's the judgment-free zone.
Yes. And the judgment also everyone needs.
It's a balance,
Yeah. I love that. Alrighty. So last question. This is kind of like a reflective and more so like advice driven question. Knowing what you know now, what is the one thing you wish you could tell yourself on the day your relationship first began?
I would say listen to her about how we get married. We had a family wedding and
like a big reception.
Yeah, big reception. The typical wedding. She didn't want that. She wanted to go somewhere cool and elope. And now that we're adults, I'm like,
I was like, you're
you
such
should
a
have done
girl.
that.
You
Yeah,
need your
I'm just
big
like,
wedding, whatever.
that
I guess I'll get a
it's
cute
so not as
dress.
memorable. I don't know. That'd probably be one of the big things. And also, listen. I think that's that takes a long time to get used to. It's like active listening to actually hear them instead of like waiting for them to stop talking so you can make a counterpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a big thing for me too. Like just, hey, little Kristie, he's not trying to hurt your feelings. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
He's just trying to talk to you, and you don't need to be defensive, with what he's saying. It's just listen and actually hear what they're trying to say. And that, you got to give your partner the benefit of the doubt. Truly. Like
Yeah.
that's the best thing you can do.
I love that. Anything else you would add, Kristie?
Um, I don't, I don't know. I guess just trust the process. You have to have faith in it. You just got to trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a quote today
Mm,
that
it's a good one.
it is a good one. I don't know who said it. I'm not going to say the quote right. But essentially, when making a decision, you should not consult your fears, but consult your hopes and dreams.
I love
So
that.
Yeah.
essentially, yeah, throughout so much of our relationship, you get so locked into fear.
Yeah.
And so if you take more time consulting your hopes and dreams rather than your fears, it probably will take you there.
Yeah, like even this podcast,
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
kind of giggling about it beforehand because he was like, I was really nervous. And I was like, we can't consult our fears. Like our hopes and dreams are this and that supports that,
Yeah.
And if you if you could know that when you were younger or like especially starting out your relationship for both parties, I think that would be so helpful. Of course you'll still get caught up in the what ifs or the fears, but that's what's preventing you from reaching your hopes and your dreams and reaching your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from those fears because they'll always be there to stop you from achieving whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good one. It's a good quote. I was like, oh, I love it. Yay.
I love that. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. And I'm so glad you guys were like so excited about this. I mean, sometimes it's like a little bit nerve wracking,
Oh,
like
yeah.
opening out to the world, being like, hey, I'm
I
starting a
know.
podcast. Please come on.
But we feel so
It's so cool.
importantly about yes, it is so cool.
It is
And
so
we love each other so much in a relationship. And I just hope that other people can also have this, because it is hard, but it shouldn't be that hard, as long as you're open to communication and flexibility and changing and
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's a little hard to give advice because I almost see our relationship is at the point of like a world-class runner or athlete, and you ask them what their training regimen is. It's like, you're not going to understand because they've been doing it for so long and they have like their little micro diets and all their crazy little things that to
Yeah.
someone, and it's like, you just have to remember sometimes when people are asking us, like the question is like, just put your shoes on and run, like
yeah, you just have to
just,
start it.
just
you know?
start with talking to her,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
Communicating.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Thank you guys so much. And remind me, because you guys work together, and you're kind of like technically self-employed.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an Instagram or a website?
Yeah. So I'm just Kristie Real Estate, and he's if you want to talk.
Yeah, House to Home Paint and Remodel is the name of my company. So the website is h2hpr.com.
Yeah, we just want to make it easy. That's a
Yeah.
lot to
Yeah,
say out loud.
h2hpr.com. So
Yeah, and we love it. We get to work together. Oh, and that's another funny little thing is when we very first started working, when we were very first together, we worked together too.
Yeah.
So we lived together and worked together. We just worked
at a call center.
Yeah,
Just for DirecTV.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and it was so fun. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun together.
I think that's why we fell back into it.
Yeah, because we're like,
we went to
okay,
college and then we're like, remember when we worked together? So
let's do that.
I love that.
Yeah. So like trying to do like a dream team, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you guys again so much for
Yeah,
coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Of
was fun.
course. I'm glad. And so thank you for celebrating another year with us. Anniversaries aren't just about how long you've lasted. They're about how you've grown together. So whether you're married, single, dating, or somewhere in between, I hope this conversation inspires you to reflect on what you're building and to remember that love is less about perfection and more about intention. Another year, another layer, another opportunity to choose each other. And if you know a friend or a couple whose story should be celebrated, I would love to meet them. Send this episode their way and have them fill out the link in the description below. and we can celebrate their anniversary too. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.